Hello there, Ben Bowers, the Spirit Specialist, and I am here to talk to you about something very, very special indeed. Now, normally, if I'm doing a product review, I will hold up the bottle to show you what it looks like and the fact that I've got it in the store, but I don't because it is this impressive looking thing, which I have available to order because it's quite expensive for me to bring into the shop, but I have access to one, so if you wanted a bottle of it, get in touch and I can get you one. This is Glen Grant 1948 70-year-old. This is the oldest bottle from the Glen Grant distillery that has ever been released. In 2013, I think it was, Glen Grant themselves, the brand owners, released a 50-year-old. That was released at about £10,000. But this is from the independent maturers. They often get called independent bottlers, but I prefer to call them independent maturers, Gordon MacPhail, who are based in Elgin. This is a company that have been going since 1895 and have been buying new make spirit from various distilleries around Scotland, mainly in Speyside because that's where they're based. They're buying the new make spirit from the distillery, they are putting it into their own casks and then maturing it themselves. So this is from the Glen Grant distillery. It is spirit that was distilled on Friday the 11th of June 1948. So this is like 2.5 years after the Second World War finished. You know, we are talking history here. And then it was bottled on the 19th of October 2018. For the first 20 years, the spirit was in a cask in Glen Grant's own warehousing, warehouse number 5. After 20 years, it was transferred to the warehouses at Gordon MacPhail themselves, not that far away from the distillery itself, where it spent another 50 years before the guys at the cask, the 4 generations of the Urquhart family who own Gordon MacPhail, basically the people in charge of the whiskey supply, checking the casks, day in, day out, went, yes, this is ready to be bottled. So this is a piece of history. It's from a single cask. There are only 210 bottles of it, and it's amazing that there are that many, and it's bottled at 48.6%. And I was very, very lucky enough to get this as a sample. So this, you might be able to see it, Glen Grant Distillery, 1948. So I have one available, but if you are going to pay, and we're looking at £17,000 a bottle, if you're going to pay 17 grand for a bottle, you want to make sure that the person that you're buying it from has tried it and knows that it's good enough to sell. So here we go. Pouring it in there. It's all right, I guess. So yeah, if you want a bottle, give us a shout, and I'll get one for you. I mean, it looks nice, so yeah, it tastes good. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put Coke with it, but I mean, it's whiskey, isn't it? It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Right, that's me done. I shall see you at the next video. Cheers. Right, obviously that wasn't the 1948. I've got it here. I'd already pre-poured it out and just filled the bottle back up again. Little gag for you. You never know, might get me some hits on Instagram or Twitter or no, not Parler, definitely not Parler. Anyway, so I have already pre-poured it out. It's been sat in this glass for probably about 5-10 minutes just while I've been prattling around doing other bits and pieces. I just wanted to give it a little bit of an airing. So if you want to leave your whiskey in the glass, that's absolutely fine, let it air out a bit, but I just wanted to pre-pour it for that hilarious gag that I've just done there. But this is genuinely it. Trust me on this, I am not just going to neck this down. So, like I say, oldest Glen Grant ever bottled. This is history. And a lot of people will be going, how can you pay £17,000 for a bottle of whiskey? Because it has sat in a cask for 70 years. It has been distilled, so there are all the costs involved in the distillation production. It has been put into a cask, which has cost money, admittedly, not a huge amount, but still an amount of money. And then somebody has had to keep an eye on that cask, along with all the others, for generations, literally generations. So passionate am I about this, I can't even say the bloody word. You know, 70 years is a long time where it could go wrong. It could turn out that actually the cask didn't work with the whiskey. This particular cask has sat there and people have tried it and gone, oh, no, this is still really good. No, this has got more to give. This has got more to give. For 70 years, it has carried on working with the spirit. The wood and the spirit have carried on working their magic that people still can't really figure out how it exactly works. Scientists have looked at this and they still can't categorically say this is what is happening and this is why, but it has weaved this magic, and then people have tried it and a couple of generations have tried it and gone, no, it's still got more to give, it's still got more to give, and then they've got to the point where it's gone, actually, yes, I think this is right. And I think this is Stuart Urquhart who has decided that this is good. But this will be the Urquhart family who have gone to this cask and gone, yes, we are ready to bottle it. So, and the danger is that it becomes overaged and it gets too oaky and too woody because it's picked up all the flavours from the wood. The wood's got nothing left to give, and then all of a sudden it just picks up nothing but wood and you get nothing but oak. And I was fortunate enough at a whisky show to get given a sample of the official bottling Glen Grant 50-year-old that came out in 2013. It was about 10 grand a bottle, and in all honesty, over oaked. I could taste nothing but wood. It was not great. And it was a bit of a shame because I really had my hopes up. So there is every danger that this is over oaked and they bottled it and charged 17 grand because they want to get rid of it. They've had it for 17 years and it's like, oh crap, actually we've taken it too far, it's too woody, well bollocks to it, let's bottle it anyway and we'll charge 17 grand for it and get some money back. There is every danger that this is the case. But straight off the bat, no, absolutely not. There's a really kind of lovely fudginess to it. There's like a soft berry element as well. It's like kind of like strawberries and cream. You know, there's strawberries and cream sweets, like the hard ones. You used to get rhubarb and custard sweets that were like bright pink and yellow, but you could also get strawberry and cream hard candy. There is that on there as well. There's a really soft spice. There is oak, but it's kind of really buttery oakiness. And people say buttery oak, and it's like, why do you say buttery oak? Do you spread butter on a bit of bark or what? But there is an oakiness to it, but it's a soft oak. It's really sweet. It's so gentle. It's absolutely incredible. Bags going on here. And I love whiskies and other spirits and rums where you can nose it and you can spend 5-10 minutes, and I'm going to try not to, where you just nose. You just go, I get something different. I get something different again. And this keeps changing, it keeps evolving, but the overriding feel is summer berries, sweet summer berries, maybe with a dusting of icing sugar on. Oh, it's delicate, but it's so lovely. And weirdly, the palate doesn't go down that route at all. There's spice, there's oranginess, there is an oakiness to it, and to be honest, the oak is more pronounced than was on the nose. Becomes quite herbal, and then it almost is like black pepper. It keeps changing. I mean, we're talking about what, 10, 20, 30 seconds after I've swallowed, and I can still taste it, but it's got a little bit drier. It's become quite herbal. There's sort of a bit of rosemary, touch of lavender, touch of thyme, bit of black pepper. Begins to get a little bit drying, but it still lingers. Now, it's entirely possible that there's peated barley in this because we are talking 1948. We are talking 70 years ago. And at that time, we didn't have air-dried barley and central maltings and everything like that. A lot of the distilleries, don't know exactly for certain, but I'm gonna kind of stick my finger in the air and go, they were malting the barley themselves. They probably would have been using local peat as well to dry the barley. So there is a very slight, very subtle smokiness to it. Not Islay, none of that nonsense, but there is a really soft, gentle smokiness to it. Again, I've come back to the nose and it's changed again. You're getting a little bit more of an oakiness in there. You're still getting strawberries, but you're getting some soft spice in there as well. It's changing all the time, and that had already been sat for about 5-10 minutes as well. There's an orange, it's like orange oil. There's nuts coming through now. Where did that come from? Walnuts, pecans, hazelnuts. I'm not a big fan of nuts generally, but actually it works really well because you get this orange note through it as well. Chocolate fruit and nut, dairy milk fruit and nut. Less of the fruit, more of the nut. Maybe actually oh God, what's the one that Cadbury's do? Cadbury's whole nut. Whole nut, yeah. You get milk chocolate, you get a sort of creaminess in there. This changes every second. It goes in another direction. There's loads of stuff going on here. Basically, I've got 3 mouthfuls of it. It's a 1 cl sample that I've got. So this is my last mouthful. Again, different, more pepper. Oak again, then it dies off. You get some fruitiness, you get orange. Orange is definitely kind of a thread all the way through this. I'm not going to put water with it. Well, I've finished it for a start, but when you get 1 cl, you can't really afford to put water in it anyway, because if you put too much in, it's gone, that's it. That, and I said it a couple of times through this video, is history. You are paying £17,000 for a piece of history, but as a bonus, you get a fucking unbelievable drink to go with it. I mean, this is incredible because I have been fortunate enough in my life to have some very, very old whiskies, and there are very, very few that hold up to the justification of releasing it at a 50, a 60, a 70-year-old. I've done a number of tastings where we've done ages in a row up to about 30, 40-year-old, and it's been more often than not about the 21, 25 where it absolutely hits the pinnacle, and then it just starts to tail off. And I've had 30, 40, 50-year-old whiskies, not loads, it's not like I'm drinking it every Friday night, but I've had a number of them in my career where it's either too flabby or it's too oaky, and somehow after 70 bloody years, this has still got bags of other flavours than just oak. Yes, oak is there. It's spent 70 years in a fucking oak cask. It's gonna pick up some woodiness. That's just inevitable. It's science, I think. But there's so much other stuff going on in there, and it keeps changing and it keeps evolving, and that is what the very best, not just whiskies, the very best spirits do. They keep surprising you. You put the liquid in your mouth and it changes and it evolves and it starts dancing around and doing different things, and you have to sit back and just let it work its magic. And then the finish, I can still taste it now. I've still got those flavors of orange oil. There's a touch of black pepper. There's a little bit of spice. There's that kind of rosemary, lavender herbiness that was in there. There's this soft oakiness. Then orange oil comes back. Even now, while I'm whittering on in sheer amazement that a cask has sat there for 70 years and has resulted in that. So is it worth it? No, because it's £17,000. But yes, because this is sat and been cared for and been looked after for 70 years. Longer than a lot of people live. And it's ended up being absolutely incredible. So what the price that you're paying for that is an incredible piece of history, an incredible whiskey, and some incredible work done by very, very skilled people. So it is absolutely worth it. If I had the money to buy a bottle, I would do. That, Gordon MacPhail also have a 50-year-old Kahlua, which absolutely blew my socks off as well. And if I could afford both of them, I would in a heartbeat. It's just amazing. So that is why it is worth that amount of money. And to be honest, that's cheap as well, because if it was from Glen Grant themselves and it was an official bottling, it would probably be 25 grand. And if it was a 70-year-old Macallan, God knows how much they charge for it. So it is good value for money. So if you are a collector, it's worth it. If you are a whiskey drinker, it is worth it. If you appreciate skill and craftsmanship and talent and passion and integrity, it is absolutely worth it. What an incredible whiskey that is, and what an absolute honour it is to be able to try something like that, and what an absolute bloody relief that you get your hopes up that it's going to be good because it's 17 grand and you'd be thinking, oh, I hope it's good. It is. Oh, God, it absolutely is. So it is a relief to know that there are products out there that are 10, 20, 30, 40 grand for whatever reason, but some of them out there are actually really bloody good and really worth it. Incredible stuff. So if you're wanting a bottle, and it may be that you are, then I can get one for you. And it's absolutely worth it. So please get in touch if you're wanting a bottle. If you're not wanting a bottle, I'm afraid that I don't have any left, so I can't obviously share it with you, but that might give you some idea of what is out there, what may seem like a silly price, but there is things out there that are actually worth it, and that is why some of these things do demand that price. Right, it's been a pleasure, genuine pleasure. Thank you for putting up with me, and I shall see you in the next video. Cheers.